Hi everybody, my name is Megan Fielder. I'm the author and creator behind Algebra Elevated. I love creating options for teachers to reduce the time they spend grading while giving their students more feedback. Now today we're going to talk about why the best time to make any changes in your classroom is right now. So you might be thinking, right now it is April, it is the fourth quarter of the school year for most people. Why would I be making any changes to my classroom now? Now, I've done this every year since I started teaching. Anything that comes up right now that I'm thinking, oh, I'll do this next year, I'll do this next year, I'll maybe do this next year, do it now. Try it out, see what happens, because your current students, you know them. You know how they should respond to things. If it doesn't go well for your best students, then you have a good idea that it's not going to work for every student next year. If it goes well for all but that one kid who has been a problem all year, then you know it's probably going to be okay. It's just not going to work through that one kid that you didn't really expect it to do anything different for anyway. So make changes now while you know your audience, you know how they usually respond to things, and then you have a better idea of what to do in the future. Now, another reason you should try something new now is because you have time to make adjustments. So whenever you present something at the beginning of the school year, you want it to be your best first impression. You want it to go off without as much of an issue as possible. Obviously, that's hard to avoid completely, but you don't want to try something new and then have to take it all back and then try it again, and then your new students who don't know you, all they know is this kind of flop that you started the year off with. If you try something now, then you have time to make those adjustments and figure it out before unrolling it with a new set of people as your first impression. Now, let me give you an example of this. I decided one year I wanted to make classroom numbers a part of my classroom routines. And I had a few ideas of how I wanted to do this, and I'll share more about this in a future video because I love them. But I decided to try it out in May. So I tried it out in May with my current set of students, and I told them that they were going to help me out for the next year. I put it on their testing quizzes, I did it for this and that, and it worked awesome for the most part. But what I realized very quickly is how easy the students forgot their numbers. So I came up with a system for how I was going to help the students remember their numbers and where I was going to keep them in the classroom in case they needed them for anything. That led to less confusion when I started off the next school year with this new routine. Another example would be some resources that I use in my classroom. I love using scavenger hunts in my classroom. There's some available in my TPT shop. I also love doing partner activities. What I didn't do my first year is either of those two things. So I decided towards the end of the year, I was going to try them out with my current students to kind of figure out how to explain them, where students were going to fall apart with it, and it made unrolling it with the new students so much easier. Now, another example of this would be when I tried something new that didn't work very well. So my first year teaching, I decided to try a lot of new stuff at the end of the school year. And one thing I thought was going to be a surefire win with my students, and it worked with a previous demographic of mine, and it just was a flop. It did not work with the way that our school was set up and our grading and all this stuff. So I decided I was just going to let it go. I didn't do it again, but I blew that couple of weeks with my current students who already knew me and knew I was trying something new, and it wasn't what my students' first impression was in the new school year. And more importantly, it wasn't what their family's first impression was. With parent-teacher conferences and open house, I wouldn't have wanted to start the school off with such a big change and something that didn't work so much that that's not how I wanted to get my classroom started. So right now is the best time for you to try something new. Now, say you decide to try something new, what should you do after that? After you try something new, really reflect on, did it improve your classroom? Don't just do something new just to spice things up necessarily. You want to make improvements and you want to make it better for students in the process. The other thing that you want to think about is, how much time is this going to take compared to what I'm already doing? If it's going to take a lot of time, you might need to be realistic and decide to do some of that work ahead of time over the summer so you're not stressed with the new school year. Third, and maybe most importantly, you need to decide, is it something that you want to share with other people and collaborate on? And now is the time to kind of pull those teachers in to your circle so that you can work together. You can say, hey, I tried this at the end of the school year or right now. This is what happened. I really love it. I'd love to work with somebody else on this and collaborate, blah, 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 blah. If you can get somebody on board in the spring and get them excited about it for in the fall, you'll have a much better start to your school year so that you know where you're going, you know what changes you want to make, and you can hit the ground running in the fall. Hopefully something in there inspired you to try something new in your classroom, whether it's super tiny and the kids won't even notice, or it's something huge that the kids will really have to take some adjustments with. Big or small, try it now. Get those kinks out of the way. Think about it all summer long and hit the ground running with a great start for next school year. Hope you found something in that video helpful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Leave me a comment down below of what you might be trying in your classroom today to get ready for next school year. Also, you can reach me on Instagram at Algebra Elevated. And I look forward to hearing all the updates.